Rebecca Brown is a controversial author, known for her books on spiritual warfare and her claims of having encountered and battled demonic forces. Her most popular works, such as and outline her experiences and teachings about fighting against the devil, particularly through prayer, spiritual warfare, and other intense rituals. However, her stories have been subject to scrutiny and criticism by various Christian investigative journalists, theologians, and even former associates. The central concern among critics is that Brown's portrayal of demonic activity and spiritual warfare can lead to deception and psychological harm for her readers. Rebecca Brown's books often portray the devil and demonic forces as incredibly powerful, capable of influencing every aspect of life. She describes vivid, often horrifying accounts of demonic manifestations, rituals, and direct confrontations with Satan's followers. For example, she claims that demons can enter people through everyday activities such as watching television, attending certain secular events, or even reading books. This constant emphasis on demonic strength can create a heightened sense of fear and insecurity in the believer. By continually focusing on how to fight the devil off, Brown shifts the believer's attention away from the power of God, instead encouraging a mindset of constant vigilance and anxiety. The teachings imply that believers are in a perpetual state of spiritual warfare, fighting against forces that are portrayed as almost equally as powerful as God's own might. This could lead readers to feel spiritually weak, mentally exhausted, and unsure of their place in God's grace. Many critics argue that Rebecca Brown's stories, particularly those about her supposed encounters with Satanists, suggest a level of special knowledge and authority not grounded in scripture or traditional Christian doctrine. She often describes her personal experiences and knowledge of spiritual warfare as superior to that of regular Christians, setting her up as a central authoritative figure. This focus on her own role in the battle against evil may lead to deception, as readers are encouraged to elevate her teachings over more balanced theological interpretations. Several Christian investigators and theologians have called into question the authenticity of Rebecca Brown's stories, pointing out inconsistencies and contradictions in her books. For example, the credibility of her personal experiences. Brown's stories about her supposed confrontations with satanic rituals and demonic encounters have been questioned by various Christian investigators. Critics claim that many of her descriptions contain too many contradictions or implausible details to be taken as factual. There is a consistent pattern where her narratives seem exaggerated or inconsistent with the Bible's teachings on spiritual warfare. Jesse and Deborah West, Christian authors Jesse and Deborah West, in their article argue that Brown's books contain numerous fabrications. They explain that some of the rituals she describes were based on hearsay or constructed from conspiracy theories, not actual experiences. In particular, her description of satanic rituals has been called into question as being sensationalized for shock value, without any substantial evidence to back them up. Debunking of the doctors. One of the key elements of Brown's stories involves her interactions with other medical professionals or doctors who are purportedly part of the spiritual warfare community. Investigative journalists have pointed out that many of these supposed doctors and experts cannot be verified, raising concerns about the factual accuracy of her claims. The demonized doctor issue Brown's claim to be a medical doctor has also been questioned. In particular, there are doubts about her credentials, as she has been accused of misrepresenting herself in some of her books. Former colleagues in the medical field have stated that they were unaware of her qualifications or licensing as a doctor, raising additional concerns about the reliability of her teachings. By focusing on the constant fight against demonic forces, Brown's books may inadvertently foster a sense of paranoia and psychological distress among readers. Many have reported feeling overwhelmed by her accounts of evil forces lurking at every corner, leading them to spend excessive amounts of time in prayer and rituals, often at the expense of their emotional, physical, and mental well-being. This constant fear can weaken a believer's spiritual foundation, causing them to rely more on Brown's methods than on the grace and strength that the Bible teaches is freely given by God through Jesus Christ. Additionally, because Brown's books often encourage readers to take aggressive, personal action in spiritual warfare, there is a risk that individuals may become spiritually obsessed or start looking for demonic forces in every aspect of their lives. ultimately fostering a sense of vulnerability rather than empowerment. Rebecca Brown's books, despite their popularity among some segments of the Christian community, raise serious concerns regarding their authenticity, theological foundation, and psychological impact on readers. Her frequent focus on demonic power, often at the expense of the strength and supremacy of God, can lead to spiritual deception and mental strain. As shown by various Christian investigators and former associates, many of her stories have been proven to be exaggerated, fabricated, or inconsistent with the teachings of Scripture. As a result, her works may not only promote a skewed view of spiritual warfare, but also contribute to unnecessary fear and confusion, weakening the faith of those who engage with them. Christians are advised to approach her teachings with caution and to prioritize sound biblical doctrine that exalts the strength of God over the perceived power of the enemy.